Disclaimer. I doesn't claim any of the arts. All the picture shown belongs to the respective artist and company. If you are original owner and want me to remove the video, I will do it immediately. Just send me an email to inform me. And if you like my content, please subscribe to my channel. Kim and Isaki's fight caused a multiple holes into auction building. Kim was victorious in his fight against Isaki. Kim defeated Isaki and his man and chained them up with his new skill. All of them was beaten up, and they are not able to fight and resist. Kim, with smile in his face, was standing in front of Isaki. Isaki was angry with Kim, and he yelled at Kim, and in response, Kim said to him, "Geez, I don't get why an S-ranker would do all this for some shitty money." Isaki told Kim to shut up and said to Kim that if only you weren't here, then by now. But Isaki couldn't finish his sentence because Kim kicked him right into his face, and with Kim's powerful kick, Isaki was thrown back with great force, and Kim said to him, "You're pretty chatty for a low-life criminal." Isaki's men were worried about him, and they wanted to know that he was okay. But Kim didn't care about Isaki as being hurt and wanted to know about Narendra Nehru. Kim said to Isaki that every country's association must have already received urgent calls for reinforcements by now anyway. You must be aware that you and Narendra Nehru will be over once the reinforcements are here, aren't you? Isaki laughed at Kim for his words about the reinforcements and called Kim a clueless kid. After that, we see someone with hurry is running towards a door. When doors open, we see that Chairman and Go was inside of that room. The man enters the room and with worried face asks about reinforcement and says, "What happened with the reinforcements for East Point?" That man was 4 Great Guild's Alchemists Guildmaster with S-ranker SEO Sangik. He continued and said to them that not just our articles are up there for sale, but also countless VIPs of the New Korea Association participating. At this rate, the villains and will. But Chairman jumped into his words and said to him, "We formed a backup force as soon as we heard of the terror news, a group of elite players with player Park Sungjin leading them." But Chairman's words didn't calm Seo Sangik. He said, "Then why haven't they left yet? If you need personnel and supplies, our guild can." But Chairman again jumped into his word and said to him that there's no way to get there. Seo didn't understand Chairman's words, so Go explained to him that the terrorists took over the control room for the East Point warp gate and blocked all the warp gates. By hearing warp gates, SEO got shocked, but he gave peace of mind to SEO that right now there are 2 S-rank players at the scene. Kim Tae-hyun may have become an S-rank player just recently, but there's only one person, Narendra Nehru, on the terrorist side. Until we can reconnect to the warp gates, I'm sure those 2 can hold out, or they might even take Narendra Nehru down. Suddenly, door opens again, and someone enters into room from it and says to them that that'd be the case if the opponent was a regular S-ranker. By seeing her, SEO and Go get surprised. She was Yu Young. After that, we see Kim in underground of auction house standing in front of Isaki. Isaki asks Kim that, "Do you know about the skill contract with the devil?" Kim gets surprised because that was first time that he was hearing about contract with the devil. Isaki explains to Kim that that's the worst of Narendra Nehru's skills. By offering sacrifices depending on their amount and quality, he can summon a monster of a certain rank. Kim, who seemed scared, didn't want to believe that Narendra want to sacrifice humans, and Isaki with laughter said to him, "That's right. What else would be the sacrifice?" In other side, Yu Young was explaining the same thing to Chairman Go and CEO. Even they got shocked by hearing this. Chairman didn't want to believe that the Narendra wanted to sacrifice humans for his skill. Go mentioned that. Narendra Nehru's holding roughly a few hundred hostage. And SEO said that, not to mention he's a notorious terrorist who is particularly skilled even among S-rankers. If someone like him sacrifices 100 people and summons a monster, it can't be. It will cause a catastrophe. With hearing Isaki's words, Kim angrily hits him against the wall and wants to punch him into face. Because of his words, Kim calls them lunatics. But Isaki laughed at Kim again and says, "Kim Tae-hyun, you might have been lucky and defeated me, but you'll never be able to win against Narendra Nehru. Now, make a choice. Beg for your life and watch those innocent hostages be offered as sacrifices, or charge into a fight you have no chances of winning and die like a dog." And Isaki continues laughing. We see the auction house in sunset, and inside of it, Narendra with his man standing in front of hostages. One of his men says to him that it seems Isaka Ryohei lost, but the whereabouts of Kim Tae-hyun, who actually took down Ryohei, are unknown along with the Phoenix Potion. What we should do? Narendra laughs and says to him, there's no chances of winning in a face-to-face fight, so he must be waiting for the association's reinforcements. Narendra activates his power and lifts some of the hostages to air, and he wants to suffocate them into air and says, however, if he won't show up, we just have to draw him out. And with red eyes, and while he is choking, woman in the air says, let's start the festival for our god. But suddenly all of the lights go off and auction place gets dark. Narendra gets surprised, and hostages thinks that is blackout. One of the terrorists says that the bomb blasted ages ago. Why just now? Damn it, I can't see anything. Narendra, with his red eyes, was thinking about this situation. He was thinking that the sacrifices I was holding disappeared in a second. But in moment, out of nowhere, Kim appears behind of Narendra with his stone and chain skill activated, and he was going to hit Narendra with that by surprising him. But at last moment, Narendra notices Kim. After Narendra notices Kim's attack, he dodges it. Kim's chains pass him. Kim wants to wrap his chains around Narendra and tie him. But by expression on Narendra's face, it seems that he is not worried about it, but Kim is sure that he can catch him. But in that moment, the fabric of his turban opens and reveals the monster that is on Narendra's head, the snake that they have fire on their mouth. By seeing it, Kim's eyes got widened. Kim gets surprised by this move. Kim's chains gets destroyed by Narendra's snakes. After they destroyed Kim's chains, the snakes, they throw fireballs at Kim, and by that huge explosion happens. But Kim manages to escape from explosion at right moment and says, I can't believe he'd have a monster hidden on top of his head. What the hell kind of guy is that? Suddenly the hostages calls Kim and they ask him that, are you here to save us? Kim turns his head and sees that he is near of the hostages that Narendra has taken for sacrifice. The hostages want to Kim untie the ropes for them and save them from villains. But Kim, with his chain skill, throws all of them to the other side and says that they are all in his way. After that, Kim moves the hostages from his way. He hears Monster's voice that who approach him, and when he looks up, he sees that 7 of them are coming at him from above. All of them attack Kim at the same time, and they make big destruction. But in second, Monsters realize something. But it is too late because Kim makes his move. He jumps into the air and then attacks them with his dagger and chains and rips them into pieces after that. He uses his Knight's King spirit and uses it on all of Monsters that were there. He suspends them in the air and pulls them towards himself. But suddenly Monsters neutralizes the effect of Kim's skill and all of them trying to attack Kim. By seeing it, Kim gets shocked that they neutralized Kim's skill. With Monsters' attack at Kim, big destruction happens, and Narendra sees and calls Kim a fool and says, you shouldn't treat the monsters from my skill. Contract with the devil, the same as the monsters you've seen until now. These monsters are under my control through the contract with the devil. Using my magic, they become sturdier than monsters of their own kind and far stronger. Just because you defeated Ryohei doesn't mean you should think of defying God's will. A large number of monsters follows Kim to attack him. They strike at Kim. He, by crossing his hand, takes a defensive position and takes a hit from Monsters. With this blow, he falls to the ground and coughs blood. Narendra looks at scene with his red eyes and smiles. Then we see hostages that Kim threw them back earlier. They were looking at Kim's fight with Monsters too. One of them says, what the hell? He's being completely overpowered. When we asked him to save us, he did as he wished. Yet he can't even win against a monster. But other one disagrees with him and says, that's not what's happening here, and advise him to look carefully and says, thanks to him the monsters aren't paying any attention to us. Not to mention, despite them overpowering him, far from running away, he's not allowing a single monster to come our way. Also, come to think of it, he actually evacuated the hostages over to this side by throwing them up in the air just now. And while he was crying says, that's right, I'm sure of it, Kim Tae-hyun. From the very start, he was thinking of nothing but saving us. By hearing man's words, others hostages came to realization that earlier, when Kim threw them back, by doing that, He actually saved them, and because of that they wanted to cheer him up. They shouted at Kim to don't give up, and they were believing at him. Kim throws his chains, and with that he catches two of the monsters by their neck and smashes both of them to the ground. Kim hears that Hostages is cheering him. Because of that, Kim gets angry and yells at them and says, "Seriously, shut the hell up." Hostages gets confused by Kim's saying, and Narendra, that was watching all of this, doesn't understand what is going on. Then Kim says that, "The hostages keep getting in my way. The damn monsters just keep coming. I can't do this stupid thing anymore." By hearing this, Hostages gets angered with Kim, and Narendra gets furious because he wants to give up. But Kim was actually talking to Jeonwon, and Kim wants him to act quickly. Narendra hears this and gets more confused. Narendra doesn't know who this guy is. When did he enter this area? Jeonwon says to Kim, "I'm sorry for making you wait so long. Taehyun, here it goes." Scene takes us back into few hours. Back we see that Kim has been defeated, Isaki, and Kim bound him with his chains. Jeonwon surprises by seeing that Kim has been defeated Isaki. Then Kim says to Jeonwon that the security team guys were actually in cahoots with the terrorists. Jeonwon cannot believe that all of this happened while he was gone. Kim continues and says, "But that's not the issue right now. By now, the Warp Gate control room is probably swarming with monsters summoned by Opid Uro. Fighting villains won't be a huge problem, but there's no way the monsters won't do anything when they see that. And above all, the hostages could get swept into all of it." Jeonwon worries that what should they do, and Kim says to him that because of this situation he needs Jeonwon's skill gate manipulation. Jeonwon surprises that Kim wants Jeonwon to help him and says, "But unless I know the E-Cast warp point, connecting the gate with the association side is going to be impossible." Kim responds that that doesn't matter, because I'm only after one thing, sending out the monsters. Back to the Kim's fight in the gates appears all over the place, and he sucks all the monsters into itself. Monsters couldn't resist to this much power, and all of them get sucked into the gates. By seeing this, Narendra gets Thank you for watching this video until the end. Stay tuned for the next chapters.